Well, hello, everyone, and a happy Samhain to everyone. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Gosh darn it, it's good to see you all in YouTube land. Everybody's looking great. I just know it. I want to thank the beautiful spirit who sent me this T-shirt. Not all witches live in Salem. Some of us live in Portland, Oregon. Gosh darn it, I am a witch. Who here wants to just shout it from the rooftops? Gosh darn it. If you're a witch and you love your witchy ways, then I say, gosh darn it, embrace your witchy ways. I want to be a witch. I think that would be rather fun. What do y'all say about that? Cheers, everyone. L'chaim, l'chaim. Well, thank you, everyone who is donating to our charity. We are still running the Planned Parenthood charity as well. We've raised, I think, about $1,200 for Planned Parenthood in honor of the governor from the great state of Texas, Greg Abbott. We have raised, I think, about $1,200 for Planned Parenthood, and we are now moving on to our other charity, Feed America. We want to make sure that everybody can get food. We think that's important. Food is important, right? So we are running the campaign today. People used to give me the money and then I would divide it up to where you all voted. And it was too much responsibility for me. And I would have nightmares worrying about the $5. And so now the best way for other readers, if you want to do this, is that YouTube will help you set up the charity and then they give everything directly. So we do it that way now. And I think it's a better way for us to do the charities. What do y'all say for the Sunday show? Yeah, you're liking it. All right, so let me go ahead and give gratitude to everybody. Thank you, Melissa Miller, woohoo, for Feeding America. You know, it costs less than $1 to give someone a meal. I think it's like 70 cents or something through Feed America. So when you think about $5, what $5 will do, that's feeding a lot of people, you know? And that's pretty gosh darn great. Yeah, I support this way of doing it because I don't want people also to accuse me of it. So this way I'm just here to entertain you and put the charity there, and it's between you and the charity. I think it's much better. All right, so Redwood's donated $20 to Feed America. Woohoo! Round of applause. Thank you, Redwood, for helping. Karen Young, absolutely. I will read on the filibuster. A lot of questions about the filibuster coming in. Hi, Cartomancy. Hope you got my email. She sent me an email. I sent her. It's all good. Hi, Sherry. Dave Chappelle. Dave, I don't know what's going on with Dave Chappelle, but we absolutely can do it because we want to do a lot less politics. You know, I've been doing a lot of meditating lately, and I just feel like there's too much fear. And the older we get, the more we seem to be driven by fear. And I just don't want to live my life like that, you know, crumpled in a ball, thinking that the whole wide world is scary. I've been watching these YouTube videos. I don't know if you've checked them out, on people that go camping alone by themselves, which is actually a spiritual quest that certain communities do. Where they will tell a practitioner to go and sleep alone in a graveyard or sleep alone in the woods so that you can conquer fear and terror and face whatever it is you're afraid of. Like in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition, a lot of nuns and monks will spend a night alone in a graveyard just to face terror and fear of death, fear of violence. When we face it, it can be very empowering. So, yeah, it's something to think about as we move through this time, as we all get older. How big is our world, and how big do you want to make your world? And if we just focus on the terrible, scary, bad, awful, that's a waste of a life that could be spent, meeting wonderful people all over the world. One of the meditations I wanted to share with people today was this idea that we've talked about in the past of evolution and how human beings are evolving towards perfection, right? We are evolving towards perfection. This mystical idea that human beings are evolving towards something that is greater than ourselves, a human that is more altruistic, that works in cooperation with the planet, expanding the goodness of the planet to the rest of the universe, right? Into infinity. Right. So that's the karma of human beings, right? That is the dharma and the karma, right? Create heaven on earth and then share it with the universe. All right, let's go ahead and give gratitude, and then we will give the remote, and then we will do some blitzes. Does that work for everybody? Hi, Naomi. Good to see you. Eileen and Richard are in the house. Woohoo! Good to see you. All right. So Virginia's governor's race also is getting asked about. Yes, absolutely. We can do that. If you're afraid of the outside world, like I just bought a bike, right? And I'm terrified of breaking bones because I've had some nasty falls. Take it slow, take the necessary precautions, but go out and take risk, right? We all have to go out and take risk. Hi, Susan Queen Bee. Thank you for being a member. Donna Stephenson, hello. Kay Gillette, thank you for being a member. Nora Face, thank you for being a member and welcome. April M is in the house. And Dylan, Foggy Ozark Ghoul. Ooh, spooky, spooky Foggy Ozark. Happy Halloween, well-being. Nice, nice, nice. Another anonymous donation to Feed America. Thank you so much. Hello, Karen W. Good to see you here. Karen, excuse me. Kitty Connell, thank you for being a member. Paisley, hello. Equus 3333. Good to see you as normal, as usual. False Teeth, Kim at 7. All right. Let's talk about the remote. Thank you for the $5 donation. We already did that for Melissa. Did I thank everybody? Another anonymous donation. Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you, Equus. 3333. We honor you. $20 to feed the hungry. Very appreciated. I had the most crazy remote last night. I've been thinking about being a remote viewer, and I've been thinking about people want to know, like, what's it like? What's the difference? There's different types of remote viewing we do. I think the best remote viewing is the remote viewing that kind of hits you and you don't expect it. That's, for example, when you're not intentionally going after somebody, when it's an unintentional target. If you try to force a target, then you can sometimes get into problems because we have biases. I recently got a hostile message from somebody who's usually a regular fan on the channel telling me, well, you're a charlatan and you're fake because you got this one wrong, or you got Brian Laundrie wrong, or something like that. It's okay to be wrong some of the time. This is an entertainment channel. No reader can be 100% accurate. It's just not possible. No FBI agent can be 100% accurate. You take what you have to work with and you work with it and you do the best you can, but there's always going to be bias. So how do you protect yourself from bias? For example, there's a lot of news going on that it's just about sensationalism, right? People want you to watch their news channel. We see this a lot with Fox News, right? Where they will have the dog flying around, and then they'll have the guy from the FBI, the Walsh guy. And the reason that they create these fake stories is to get you to keep watching, keep watching. And so I would just encourage readers to be very, very careful, because you can be the most seasoned remote viewer. Oh, hi, Cardamansi. Welcome. Welcome back. But you're going to be influenced. You're going to be influenced. So people asked if I would talk about Brian Laundrie and how, I got it wrong or something like that. When I did the profiling is one of the techniques you can do if you're an empath, which is to look at a case, and then as an empath, you put yourself completely in the shoes of the other person. And then you think, what would I do if I was this person, based on my compassion, my empathy, my creativity. That's how an empath will do a profile. So when I did the profile, I was confused, I was disoriented, I was in denial. And I always felt, every time I did the profile, this drive, the physical profile, I had to get southwest. I had to get southwest. Now, in a situation like that, if you're the remote viewer, give the remote view exactly as you see it. It could be complete BS. It could be something you dreamed up. But my advice to people, if you're learning how to do HCRV, deliver it exactly how you saw it. So my job isn't to worry whether I'm even right or wrong. My job is to be as honest as I can and just give it to you exactly how I see it. I also want to say that science is science, and HCRV, we think, has some science to it. That's why I document everything. That's why I go on record and I say the date is June 20th, 2019. I had a remote view with this individual and he made these statements, so that either I'm going to fall on my face. I'm okay with that. I'm ready to fall on my face, but I want to be as specific as possible. You can be a great reader by faking it. You can be a great reader by making generic statements, right? For example, the FBI is usually right. So if the FBI is focusing on an area and I say, I psychically predict that it's in this area, you're probably going to be right, because that's what the feds are focusing on. I want people who are studying HCRV to get away from all of that. Just focus on the process and be honest about what you see in the process, even if you fall on your face, because everything else is just trying to entertain people and trying to be politically correct. And for example, we know that in the majority of these cases, the person who commits the murder will commit suicide. So if the psychic says, oh, the FBI is right and they're going to find somebody who committed a suicide, they're just going with what's statistically likely. Again, that's not HCRV. HCRV, we put ourselves in the situation, and to the best of our ability, with integrity, we deliver the information. We try to be careful about bias, which is why we talk a lot about abiding, to sit in your own energy and make sure you're clear with yourself so that you don't get biased. So in the case of Brian Laundrie, I was confused, disoriented, I was in denial, I refused to accept it. Then I got into the car, and then that is where I lose the stream. I have three choices. I either go into the swamp, which I didn't want to do because I was terrified, alone, and horrified by the truth. Somebody can take me from there, or I can go off by myself. I felt, based on this profile, when I put myself in the shoes of this individual, of those three choices. Now, me, Whimsy, if it had been me, because of my childhood, I would have hopped trains because I know how to do that. But when I put myself in this guy's shoes 3 times as a profiler, this is somebody who's a mama's boy. I would have gotten somebody to help me and take me out of there. Now I did it several times. I profiled several times, and several times I wound up not there. I wound up southwest. So now there's this question: is it really Brian Laundrie, or did they just say this has been a? Here's one theory. One theory is that this has been a public relations nightmare for Florida and for the feds. And this is a crazy theory, and that they took a John Doe, because it was 250 meters from where the car was parked, and put a John Doe there and said, it's him, close this case. They're always finding John Doe. There's a lot of homeless in Florida. I don't know. I mean, about anything about that. I live on planet Earth. If the feds say it's him, I believe it. So I always tell people also, if you're a remote viewer, believe the science. Believe the science. And if you get it wrong, be humble yourself. I can't give you 100%, but I'm pretty darn good. I am pretty good at my job. But when I screw up, I own it. And it's like, let's go back, because we teach people openly here how to the technique I use. We're very transparent. And let's find out, how did I get it wrong, or did I get it wrong, or et cetera, et cetera. And sometimes we get shockingly accurate. We don't know why. Like, for example, we gave an assignment to the group. It was Target. They couldn't see who the individual was. And everybody kept saying, we talked about this, water, I need water. And it turned out that the target was Helen Keller, right? So trust yourself, and just, even if people think you're crazy, just deliver it exactly how you see it. Like with me, I saw train tracks to the left. I saw a white abandoned building. I saw a flat terrain. I just deliver the remote. All right. If you screw up, you screw up. Okay. So we're going to go ahead now. I hope that answers everybody's question. Doesn't mean someone's a charlatan. It means that they made a mistake. It happens. And then you just humble yourself. Okay, let me trace back as a practitioner where I got lost at. And that's it. And you just learn and move on. It's okay. No big whoop. All right. So here is an interesting remote. Are we ready to move on from that? I'm happy to talk about it. Talk about the process, show people how I do it, teach it for free. Like, we have free classes too. We open up for people. All right. I want to talk about this remote because it's a crazy, crazy remote. I was doing a meditation last night, and sometimes when you go into a remote, you're just scanning. Anybody here who does HCRV or is a remote viewer, where you do an abiding and you don't know where in the abiding you're going to wind up? You ever just be in step 3? Those of you who've done HCRV, and you're just kind of like abiding, and you just feel your soul, your astral body is just kind of floating in different realms, different realities. And all of a sudden you see a scene and you say, what the hell am I looking at? And it just pops into your consciousness, and you didn't prepare for it, and you weren't out looking for a target. Has anybody ever had this happen to them as an HCRV practitioner, as a remote viewer? Well, that's what happened to me last night. Last night, I was doing the 5-step technique. I was doing the meditation. I put myself into the trance state. I was doing the abiding, and I was really just enjoying the abiding. And I was listening to a Dakini mantra. If you want to find the mantras I use when I do the remote views, you can find them on the playlist of healing mantras. Those are the mantras that we use. So as I was in the meditation, I found myself in the White House, and I found myself specifically in the West Wing, and in the president's bedroom. You know the president's bedroom, right? You know the president's bedroom. Okay, so there appears to be a book, or I think it's a book that's going to be coming out. And here's the title that I heard as I floated into this Akashic record. The book is tentatively called Keeping the President Alive. Keeping the President Alive. And it's the true story of how the Secret Service and the intelligence agencies had to work overtime to keep number 45 alive. This is the Akashic record I fell into last night. This book, which is going to be coming out, will chronicle the extreme measures that the Secret Service and the intelligence agencies had to take on in order to protect the President 45 from multiple assassination attempts. They're also going to show evidence that there were people, even in their own ranks, who they suspected had been seriously contemplating assassination attempts. And one of the things that will shock America is that some of the plots by Americans in the intelligence agencies had gotten really, really far. And they even had a plot that nearly would have succeeded. And there's a plot here of that came up of something regarding Secret Service making their way all the way, being able, intelligence to make their way all the way into the president's bedroom if they were considering an assassination, and how he had to go from his bedroom into the bunker. And during that time period, it was very hard to keep him alive, the extreme measures they had to go through, and that even within their ranks, they suspected that people were plotting his assassination. And some of them were thwarted, and some of those assassination attempts have not been made public because they involved highly sensitive material and people that may have been extremely close to the president. How's that for a bombshell? So the tentative title for the book, as I heard it, was Keeping the President Alive. So probably going to be released in the next couple of weeks, because usually when we do the remotes, we usually get them about 3 weeks early. Thank you for the anonymous donation. Appreciate that. Isn't that a crazy remote? And it's a great name. It's a great title for the book, too, Keeping the President Alive. But it's also like, can you imagine coming to the realization that there are people in the military and people, high-ranking officials, that are sitting in quiet rooms talking about who's going to have to maybe take this guy out? Like, it got to that point, and it's going to come out in this book. It had literally come, like, how are we going to have to physically put hands on him? Are we going to cray? All right. I think Brian is dead because I can't pick up anything. Dead. When I went home and I was like playing on the TV and refusing, but then I'm offline. So if I'm off, usually when I'm offline like that, same with the leader of North Korea, I'm offline. I can't get online. If that's him, then he's changed so much that his energy that I used to, you can find the energy and then you vibrate with the energy when you're doing remote viewing. So a lot of readers, this new version of Kim Jong-un, which is like 40 pounds lighter, and it's just a different energy. So either he's gone through some huge spiritual transformation, which is possible, people change, or it's not Kim Jong-un because it is so different. Okay, so, scandal. I don't know if I believe they planted a dead body, but then I saw that documentary on something about Black people being murdered somewhere, and they had to dig up bodies of the people, and it wasn't them, and the police had been burying John Does. It was a huge thing that came out. So but come on. Does that stuff only happen in the movies? I mean, come on. But that's what people are saying. All right. Would everybody like the collective reading? Oh, that was the Emmett Till's murder investigation? Thank you. Just horrible. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do the community prayer. Everybody ready to go? The Empath's prayer. Debbie, for you, I'm going to do the Empath's prayer. How many people here know how to say the Empath's prayer by heart? Just curious. Okay, I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journey to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those we may have strife with. And together, collectively, as a community, we say, Amen. Let's go in. I love the collective. All right, let's do it. What, cartomancy? They found 8 bodies when they went into the swamp? They found 8 bodies. Jeez. Well, it's because he was found 250 meters from the car, where the car park was. That's why people are skeptical. But I don't know. I don't know the terrain. I don't know. I'd like to move on from it. 8 bodies. Oh my goodness. Oh dear. I can't believe that. Well, maybe they did dump it. I don't know. I mean, that's crazy. All right, let's give our collective. I don't know what to think. All right. Where we are at right now. Oh my goodness. Where we are at right now, still struggling with discipline. So, discipline. Also, difficulty giving up things that we are attached to that may not necessarily be good for us. Toxic relationships, right? Codependent relationships. Tillamook peanut butter, and I stopped buying the peanut butter chocolate and peanut butter ice cream from Tillamook. And then the vegan coconut bliss. Have you guys all tried coconut bliss? Larry and Luna's peanut butter chocolate vegan. Okay, so that's kind of like the devil, right? It's that relationship we have that's so, it's like this intense bond and we can't give it up. This has come up a lot for this group. And I think what happens is that when we go through difficult times, like what we're going through now as a nation, we want to cling to things, right? We want to cling to, just like Mila's relationship. Mila knows that she has a special relationship with Flopsy, right? She literally will move Flopsy, right? If she thinks I'm going to hurt Flopsy. So it's an extremely tight relationship. Even if her relationship was toxic, she would still have a hard time giving up her relationship with Flopsy, right? So the codependent relationship is seen as chains, but they're chains that can be pulled off. It's a very loose chain that they're wearing. The choice is yours if you want to give it up. This can be difficulty letting go of past relationships that are toxic, but it can also be addictions. Food is a big addiction. Alcohol for some people, recreational drugs, whatever it is, this appears to be the challenge. Where we are at right now is actually a really good time in terms of power. It's interesting that we struggle with the little things, the Larry Luna ice cream, or addictions, or relationships that Halloween. I really like sweets. It's really a problem. So that kind of energy is there. But boy, talk about a great base reading. High Priestess, absolutely one of my favorite cards in the card chart. It denotes hidden information being revealed, and it's also a power card. It's a card that denotes the hidden being revealed. All right, where we are at right now, growth and rapid change. The Eight of Wands is right over us. Interesting. What do y'all think about that? So Eight of Wands is fast, furious change. It can be strife, but I just feel like people are growing and they are advancing in leaps and bounds. Oh, good for you. 30%, 95% anti-inflammatory diet. Yes, because I put a lot of my patients on the anti-inflammatory diet because when you drop cortisol, your thyroid starts to become activated. So that's why it can suppress thyroid function. So I'm glad you're doing the anti-inflammatory. Wheat is the big one. Even more than dairy, more than anything. Wheat, sugar, potato. Well, but some people do well on potatoes. I don't know. Wheat though is. I love bread. I love bread. Big changes in terms of information, empowerment, knowledge for you, and walking away from the things that don't serve you. A lot of you are ending relationships that were toxic. Look at this. Your crossing card is Five of Pentacles, which is to leave poverty. It's also to leave people that are broken or damaged. There's an aspect to the Five of Pentacles. When women leave relationships with their husbands, I often will get this card. And when men leave relationships with their partners, I'll get this type of card because it has to do with exile or feeling like you have to leave a particular situation because you feel disconnected. The light in the church, right? So I always think of it as an exile card. Yeah, getting back to the church. Real desire for people to be at peace with themselves and to be at peace with their own values. A lot of confusion coming to an end. Be about your business, child. Queen of Pentacles in the third house. You folks are getting organized. Whoa, a lot of minimalist here. Transformation of the home and possibly walking away from the stuff that keeps you impoverished. Time to minimize, get rid of things that don't serve you and walk away. Time of building a new legacy. Before I started the channel, The Oracle of Whimsy, I had another channel which is called Broke Aristocrats, where we would get together and we would show people how to live the good life. Even though we're minimalist, we're not driven by possessions, right? We're driven by the good life. And so one of the things I've started to do with the memberships is that I'm starting to bring in more of frugal living, simple spiritual living, because that's really what feeds my soul. And if that feeds your soul, then it would be great if you could be a member. But things that I'm trying to get into when I think about being in my business is what do I need to do to be aligned with my own ethics and values? And it's interesting to see the Hierophant in the fourth house here. We can't live our lives trying to change others. We can't live our lives trying to fix others. But what we can do is be at peace with what we believe our values are, right? Fool takes a leap of faith. Some of you are going to be taking some big risk in the coming days. New beginnings for many of you. Also, some of you may be attending weddings and celebrations. Friends and family, there could be new weddings coming for you. The hopes and fear, mental health, watch cognition, make sure you're getting adequate sleep. Check for adrenal fatigue. Things that are impacting your cognition. Too much caffeine, too much sugar, alcohol, recreational drugs, thyroid dysfunction, anxiety. These are things that can impact short-term memory. The Emperor is logic and reason. So concerns about this, concerns about one's ability to be rational. There's a fleeing like a thief as the outcome. What's that about? Let's do a clarification. You're cutting ties with people. You're cutting ties with people and you're cutting old relationships. many of you could find yourselves ending relationships. You can see here, final outcome, to flee like a thief. 8 of Cups could indicate that many of you are ending relationships, possibly even with family members. And also, some of you are trying to find information that may be hidden about certain things going on with family, and it's going to be revealed, because that High Priestess could indicate that there's some stuff that's happened in your life, and maybe not everybody's been totally open with you, because to flee or leave a situation that was toxic and information coming out that you may not have known before, just be aware that some of that could be happening and that some relationships could be coming to an end. Okay. That was that. Very cool. So I guess we'll get organized. Whenever I get the call, I will blitz, blitz, blitz away. Did anybody have any comments or questions about the collective? It was a little strange. I don't know. It seems strange to me. Oh, I've got people blitzing. People are telling me to blitz, blitz, blitz. All right, so let's blitz away. Oh, got the order. All right, so this question has to do with the future of the filibuster. What do y'all think about this filibuster nightmare? I mean, I just, I don't get it. I want to get it, right? We want to understand. My shirt says, "Not every witch lives in Salem." Had to put some witchy clothes on for our witchy day. All right, I'm going to do a blitz. The future of the filibuster. Okay, the future of the filibuster. You know, it's really kind of gruesome. You know, when you look at politics, when you really take a look at politics, there's something really gruesome about it. I think that what happens a lot when you go into this energy is a feeling, particularly by activists, people that are part of the Poor People's Campaign, the environmentalists, etc., is this feeling like we got to get going now. This back and forth and dragging things out so that Biden will have an unsuccessful presidency, and moving this here and moving that. It's delay tactics, right? Because inevitably they all go along with the same thing. Why? Because everybody knows where the economy, it's just the purpose. A lot of this is to simply screw over Democrats. You can see here 2 of Pentacles, which is the flim flam man. This is an energy like people are just screwing with us. Ace of Cups, an offer comes. The ethics, returning back to the ethics of what we're supposed to be doing with the Congress. Also, the World and Ace of Swords would indicate that there's going to be progress happening. But here's the thing that's interesting about these cards when it comes to Congress and the filibuster. Some truth comes out that causes people to become very defensive, even to the point of being frightened about jail. You can see Archangel Michael, the sword of truth, which is associated with the messenger that carries the sword, messenger being an angel that carries the sword. Nine of Wands is associated with jail or imprisonment. It sounds crazy, but it's almost like, great, you're going to go along with this and you're not going to block this, and then we won't have to go after you again for all the corruption. In plain words, you're so corrupt and you're under criminal investigation, and the truth is coming out soon. So how you feel about the filibuster is of no consequence. In fact, the truth be told, you probably should go along with what the Democrats are suggesting, because you're in a lot of hot water. You can see here again the truth, and then Nine of Wands, and then here again the sword of victory in the world. Yes, we're going to be able to push past the filibuster, but more than that, look, I think there's corruption on both sides, both Republican and Democrats. There are greedy, sick people in the world that get into politics for the wrong reason. I mean, look at Andrew Cuomo. The guy turned out to have all kinds of problems, right? We don't need him in the Democratic Party, right? There are good people like Adam Schiff, right? We don't have to have jerks, right? Okay, so that is basically what I saw in the filibuster. Yeah, it's going to have to move, because if you look at the energy of those cards, if you're just reading straight cards, it looks like whoever is blocking the filibuster is probably facing some of their own problems. Okay, so the next question, thank you, by the way, thank you everyone who emailed me and sent questions. All right. Yeah, they've really, the whole Biden, it's a mess, whatever's going on. Okay, so are people keeping tabs of Kyla? Can you guys educate me on this? Because this is just too horrible, and it's one of those things I don't even want to look at. But did I type it? No, I didn't. Kylie Rittenhouse. All right, here is this poor kid, a neglected kid with no father and a mentally ill mother, who's been sent off to go shoot and kill people while a bunch of mentally ill adults egg him on. And now the latest is that the people he murdered can't be called victims. So am I wrong here, or am I understanding this correctly? So people want to know what's going to happen with guys. I don't understand why. He's a child whose brain is not Kyle. I thought it was Kyle. Oh, did I spell Kylie? I meant to say Kyle. Yeah, so I understand a kid that's mentally ill with that kind of a background, that's only 17 years old, doesn't have normal brain development. I can see them going to juvenile hall, and but an adult that's supposed to have normal adult, why aren't the adults being tried? I guess that's what I'm confused about. But is anybody keeping track of this? It's like a freaking nightmare. Yeah, his mother sounds like can you imagine? This kid's, oh my God. Let's take a look. He's insane. This kid's insane because the adults are crazy, and they created a little insane kid. That's what it looks like. I know. I don't believe in the kids can be responsible the way an adult can, right? But the adult should be in prison. There he is, the kid, new beginning. I feel confusion. I always feel confusion. Like I'm sitting and watching everything, but I'm a little confused. There's almost a feeling of confusion, tons of evidence. They had to go through, this feels to me like they went through a ton of evidence on Kylie Rittenhouse. Also, pretty gruesome photographs of the dead. can see the evidence here. Grieving family members, you know, how he's being spun, how Kylie is being spun in the media and what the jury is seeing are two entirely different things. You can see here evidence of the dead and the grieving family. You see it? So what people are saying out there is very different than the pictures that I have to look at of people bleeding to death while a mom's crying in a courtroom. You see what I'm saying? It's a different feeling. Like, how the hell did this happen? How did this happen? How did this happen? You see, cards are pretty amazing, but they will pull up for us, right? He was, you know, psychologically, as far as Kyle is concerned, 8 of Wands can be strife. It can be multiple things hitting you at once, and it can be things happening. I don't think, given the lack of mental maturity and the age and the people that raised him, the absence of a father, etc., and this 8 of Wands over him, which can be fast, rapid energy, I don't think he's doing too good. In terms of the evidence is really key. You can see the star over the evidence. If he's convicted, it's based on the evidence. There's the courtroom. There's the dead. Over the grieving family members. Very spiritual people. I would say that the victims had a strong relationship with their church, probably. And I just see the churches, the churches being very active, being a comfort, the clergy, the pastor coming, ministers, that kind of energy being there for the victims. This is not how Fox, they weren't a bunch of crazy people out making, these were people that were doing what they felt they called to do because of their faith. I'll do one more clarification. I don't usually do 3, but I'll do another clarification for him. He was egged on by his mother, Kylie. His mother is closely associated with his problem, strife. 8 of Wands is a strife, can be a strife card. There's his mother's card. Whoever said it was his mom was right. The star evidence. There were attempts to muddy up the evidence, the moon, and there were attempts to contaminate the evidence by people, possibly the police. You can see a contamination card, moon, over the star, over the evidence. This is getting real weird, people. Did the police actually know him? They're trying to muddy it. He'll be shown some grace, but he will be convicted. As for the family members of the victims, they feel to some extent that justice was served. The judgment falls on them. With the spirit card of faith. I feel like these are people that went to church on Sunday and they strolled out to the polls on Sunday. It's that kind of an energy. This is not homicidal killers. These are church people. That's what it feels like. It feels like these are church people, and as part of our faith, we got to fight the good fight, right? Got to go get into some good trouble. It's that kind of an energy. I think he's going to get convicted. I think that they'll show him mercy because of his age, because of that 6 of Pentacles moving in. And because the victims' family members have that Hierophant coming in, I think they've been given a lot of comfort from the church, a lot of comfort from the community. And judgment was straight up, meaning that justice, I think, will be served. The justice and the judgment were there. All right. Did that answer the questions that people had about Kylie Rittenhouse? Okay. So this question came to us a couple days ago. Oh, thank you, Ruth Pearl, for donating $10 to Feeding America. Yay, Ruth Pearl! It's, what is it, like 15 meals or something for $10? What is it? 70 cents per meal. Yay! I have to do this for everybody who think of all of the hungry children and all the hungry people that are going to be eating yummy, delicious food because of you. Okay. All right. So this question we got asked a few days ago. I put it on the back burner. It's one of those things like, oh God, another thing to be stressed out about. But let's talk about it. China and Russia. Y'all know about this? You love my rattle call, Steve? Me too. And I must see the cucaracha, cucaracha. Don't put the cucaracha in the stew. Anamasido bought 15 meals. La 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 la. Anamasido. Woohoo! Feeding America. That was fun. Good for you, Marie Hansen. Marie Hansen donates to charity all the time on the Oracle of Whimsy. It's fun. Okay. This is my heaven on earth. Hey, ever since I was a little kid, I wanted to be a philanthropist. So this is my party. All right. So next question has to do with China and Russia and the fact that they were doing group maneuvers and Taiwan is feeling scared. For those of people who don't know, Taiwan is independent from China. China used to be independent from Hong Kong. They got the British handed over Hong Kong, and then it was taken over by China. It was a process. You're welcome, Anna. Now Taiwan is concerned because off the coast of Japan, aka Taiwan, Kai-shek, is that what his name was? He fled to Taiwan. He was fighting against Mao, right? And so Taiwan was anti. Okay, so the concern is that Taiwan is going to be attacked by China. Are we looking at World War III? Is that what we're talking about here? Thank you, Anonymous, for donating to Feed America. You want to rattle? I got it on Etsy. It was just a local person. She makes them by hand. She's native. I wanted to support a local native artist. She wrote me a little thank you. I love people who make their own art. I want to support them on Etsy. April Robin, happy Halloween. April Robin, she raised money for 15 meals for Feed America. Yummy, 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 tasty, delicious. Delicious for April Robin. Chiang Kai-shek, yes. And may you be blessed, Robin. All right. The future of Taiwan. Is it going to be under China? Or is it going to remain independent? Shake, rattle and roll. Ooh, we got to shake, rattle and roll. We got to shake, rattle and roll. We have military bases in Taiwan. Very interesting. Betrayal, feelings of concern and betrayal. What the heck did we just walk into? Feeling tied down. Ouch. This is looking like they are serious here. Yes, the Chinese want Taiwan. They are doing these exercises because they're serious. Grief. The Chinese would be willing to work out a deal for money, big money, big money, not to invade. In plainer words, they're kind of like pirates. This is similar to what we saw with when the Vikings invaded Britain, right? You have to pay us a tariff not to beat the crap out of you. And that is what it looks like. You can see here 10 of Swords with Taiwan, concerns of betrayal and people working against. You're either pro-Taiwan or you're anti-Taiwan, right? You either are pro-China or you're pro-Taiwan. So there's some feeling here of betrayal that some of the people in Taiwan are pro-China. A feeling of betrayal here and a feeling that they may have put themselves in this situation. Also, there's grief. But look here, money. Money saves them. So it could be pressure from China to engage in certain international business, etc., in exchange for not bothering Taiwan. Just like the deal that was made between Egypt and Israel, right? It wasn't just Israel that got money. Egypt got money too. It's like, we'll give you both money not to kill each other, right? So these types of there appears to be some kind of financial investment. Well, if you want us out of Taiwan, you're going to have to do something for us. Yeah. Okay. So the clarification is the international community and the international banking community, etc., is going to step in because there are things that they can do financially in order to protect Taiwan from China. That's basically, and I don't know why I'm seeing that or saying that, but that's how it looks. You can see here scholars coming in to prevent this from happening. Lovers means that there are mediators reaching across the aisle to prevent this from going to war. Strong woman, I always see possibly World Trade Organization, and then the world money or the world trade comes in. So it's almost like financially better for everybody if we don't go to war, and that everybody works this out financially on the table through WTO, all of our trade, what you owe, what I owe, etc., without us bombing everybody. You don't need to invade Taiwan in order to financially benefit from Taiwan. Let's all calm down and let's see if we can't work this out. So it's that kind of a feeling. But who wants to be held hostage by the mafia? I mean, it almost feels like it has a mafiosa kind of feel to it. Give us money or we're going to do whatever, right? Okay, that was interesting. Okay, the next question comes from people in England. Hello, England. Happy Sunday. We don't get to do Britain too often. So explain it to me. Now, there's a fishing conflict happening. Is that what somebody is talking to me about it and sent me something from The Guardian? So it looks like the British and the French are, ever since Brexit, are fighting over fishing rights. Does anybody know anything about this? And it's become a huge deal. And fish are rotting. I don't know. Anyone know about this whole fishing conflict between Britain and France? Let's find out if anything's going to come of this. Oh, I should write it out. Okay. Brexit, fishing rights, France and Britain. I don't know what I'm looking at, but it's a boundary line. Brexit was a Russian operation. Yeah, Joel. I don't. I'm a dumb American. I'll just try and figure this out. Okay, let's check on fishing rights. Post-Brexit between Britain and France. Oh my goodness gracious. This is really bizarre energy. So, you know what this feels like? It feels like they're back to where they were 400 years ago. It's like when you go into this energy between Britain and France and this feeling. It's like, no, it's mine. No, it's mine. No, it's mine. No, it's mine. That back and forth. It's almost like the fighting that happened, and then you had the marriages that took place between, say, Scotland and France with the Queen of Scots, where they were trying to create alliances because they weren't always getting along with England. Blah 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 blah. There's almost like you don't have a right to. It's not your basketball. It's my basketball. It's not your toy, it's my toy. That kind of back and forth between kids. Magician card is kind of a feeling like Britain is taking everything. Yeah, we knew it was ours. You're not going to get anything, and being kind of a little rough around the edges there about this. And then grief here. I think that Britain is going to get a lot of their fishing rights. The partnership with France. You know, I feel the frustration. It's like France keeps losing every battle. France loses every battle. They lost the contract with Australia, right? Americans came in to offer assistance, right, with the nuclear subs. And now it looks like they're going to have a hard time holding on to some of these fishing rights just because of Britain coming in, and then France's response, and then the partnership, and then the world. They'll work it out, but France is not there. I think the frustration for France when you go into this energy under Macron is that they keep losing a lot of serious deals. I think Britain's going to do okay. Look at that. France is going to have to let this go. Yeah, they'll work out their partnership issues. It'll get resolved with a new contract that's fair, but that's more fair. They'll work out a new contract, but it benefits Britain more than France. You can see the new contract coming in. Interesting, huh? Oh, Queen Elizabeth. Yes, I hope she's going to be okay, but she's moving along. Yes. Well, you know, she's getting older. She had a wonderful long life. Oh boy. Okay, so then the next question we have has to do with people wanting to know about the Virginia's governor's race. When does the race take place? Does anybody know when the vote happens? That sounds delicious, Aspie3i. That race scares you. Okay, let's take a look at the Virginia governor's race. All right, is it going to be a Republican or a Democrat? I don't even know who's running. I'm so bad at keeping track of this stuff. Oh, hi, Michelle Mybell. Good to see you here. I think the Democrat wins in Virginia. You can see he pulled double aces. Ace of Swords, he wins. Helps the people of Virginia. Two of Pentacles would indicate juggling coin or some kind of questionable money was put into the race. And then Six of Pentacles, which is mercy, justice, a fair outcome. Clarification for the Virginia race, karma. You reap what you sow. So what we put into the race is what we'll get back. But there's some shenanigans. Again, follow the money. Questionable money sources. Questionable money sources from foreign governments funding campaigns. It's really scary. Unholy relationships. This is going to become a bigger and bigger problem because of Citizens United, to be honest with you. This unholy money and then trying to deal with it and the flim flam man. There is money taking place in the Virginia in the campaign that doesn't appear to be kosher. But it still looks like I think the Democrats going to win. Okay, well, we've been at it for well over an hour. If you haven't had a chance yet to do so, be sure and share, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Join, become a member if you want to. I will, if you donate to charity or become a member, I will sing to you with this rattle. Okay, so are we ready to move on? Next question. People want to know if Dave Chappelle is going to be okay. I hope Dave Chappelle is going to be okay. Okay. Dave Chappelle. Okay, let us look at Dave Chappelle's future. What happened to Dave Chappelle? I don't even know. Equal opportunity offender? I don't know. Did he say something offensive? Stubborn person. I think this is somebody who's very defensive, doesn't want to admit that they did anything wrong. His people that he has contracts with, producers, the people that follow the money, there's been a conversation. You can see here 2 of Cups. So his behavior, people have actually said, you're kind of crossing the line here. The people that fund him, his benefactors, his alliance. Also something about him leaving or traveling, which is like him, like when he ran off to South Africa for a while. But there's a Chariot here, so he could decide to just chill out for a little bit. And then in the end, he's a hypersensitive person grieving. There's this movement, because I don't know why, to just, and a lot of really dumb things being said about trans people, just really uninformed. And it's just like, there are people in this world that have to have somebody to bash, somebody to hurt. And unfortunately now the trans community is really getting hit hard with this type of abuse. It's interesting. He actually has a lot of that. He's homophobic because this is gay marriage. Two men taking vows before the priest is the hierophant. So the hierophant doubles for me if I'm using the universal rider weight as two men getting married. So if somebody comes to me and they're LGBTQ and they're asking about their love life, if this is an outcome, it's very auspicious. But it's interesting that he's closed-minded, and that was the card he got. So it's almost like this is a guy who may have his own sexual ambiguity. He may have his own questions or dark part of him that he's never really sat down and looked at about his own erotic nature or his own sexuality. It's kind of interesting that it fell on that. Maybe he has self-hatred because he's maybe in the LGBTQ community himself. Why else obsess about being the trans community? In terms of his relationship with his employers, he's got compassionate people there. King of Cups, bridge over troubled water, mediation, trying to work with him. He makes people a lot of money, so of course they're going to want to work with him. And then regarding him, Chariot, taking a break, and then his final outcome with his grief, new beginning, Ace of Wands. Also, it's a machismo card. I think that, yes, he'll be fine. I think that he has a history of mental health problems, and he may have some confusion about his sexuality. These are male sexuality cards too, right? Maybe he's attracted to trans women. I don't know. Maybe he's confused by it. I don't know. I hope he works it out. Because Ace of Wands is also a sexual attraction card. It's an erection. So if he's obsessing about it, and he's got a gay marriage card there and an erection, it's like, maybe there's something there you got to explore, which is usually how this works, right? If you're obsessed with somebody else's sexuality, you don't have anything better to do with your time. It's a little bit of that, Okay, so I think we're going to go ahead and close. I think I'll do one more and then I'll call it a day. I'm going to take my bike out. Oh, he made a comment about Minneapolis. Okay, Sarah had a question. Let's do Sarah's question, and then I'm going to call it a day. There's so many people on tonight because it's Halloween. So please, Whimsy, and you look at Minneapolis, Minnesota, November 2nd elections. Yes, we can. Ballot question. Whether or not to abolish police department and place it with the Department of Public Safety, which is safest and highest good of all. Okay, let's look at public safety in Minneapolis and change of the police in Minneapolis. It's interesting when you go into this energy because this is an energy that has a lot to do with creating a better community policing. You can see here 3 of Wands, which is to look beyond, to get your wish, but it's also about going beyond. 9 of Pentacles, which is confident in the garden, but there's a 10 of Swords here, a feeling that the people that were supposed to protect us, the police, have betrayed us, right? Because we don't feel safe. If we don't feel safe because of what the people we pay as public servants, they're there to protect us. 10 of Swords is a feeling of having been betrayed. And then the Hanged Man, it's likely that even if it doesn't pass, there are huge changes that are going to be happening with the police in Minnesota. You can see here a new contract coming in, and a lot of really overhauling. You know, it's kind of like they brought in experts to go into the community policing and try and find out every single thing. That it's almost like they had to gut a bunch of stuff and just go to the beginning, what we did wrong, overhauling things, trying to work with existing communities, some of which don't want to work with the police. You can see here, we were betrayed. We don't want to work with you. We don't feel safe with you. Which is unfortunate. The people that are there to protect you, you should feel safe. You shouldn't feel like they are the threat, right? And so regarding hanging up the police, it's very likely that is what's going to happen. And if it doesn't happen, it's not going to be the same police department. You can see here the police, the high priestess, or excuse me, the King of Swords is the police, and then Hanged Man. Yes, believe it or not, it's possible that they do exactly that, Sarah. It's not the response I expected, but the cards are moving in that direction. Linda, we got to sing it together. Linda Zamora. Linda Zamora donated $20, $20 bill. That's, what is that? 30 meals. Delicious, yummy, hot, warm, nutritious, tasty. Thank you, Linda. All right. Did everybody have fun? Anonymous donated $5. 7 meals. 7 meals. All right, you guys did fantastic. A round of applause to everybody who participated today. A round of applause to everybody who helped us raise money for a great cause, Feed America. Yeah, be sure and check out the other readers. And gosh darn it, that was fun. All right, we'll see you all next time. Again, thanks for supporting a great charity. And I'm going to go play on my bike. I'll take plenty of pictures for you guys so that you can see what it's like to be out and about in Portland. Bye. Thank you, Anonymous. Yay, thank you, Anonymous.